Hello, Namaskar, Vanakkam. I have a good news for you and I have a bad news for you. And both pertain to your chemistry paper on the 11th of March. This is for class 10 of ICSE. The good news is that don't be worried, your chemistry examination will nowhere be as tricky. I'm not saying tough, as tricky as your physics paper. Traditionally, the physics paper has always been more tricky. Chemistry paper, in contrast, will be much more straightforward, much more simple. So relax. That's the good news. The bad news, however, is that students make the maximum number of careless mistakes in chemistry. सबसे ज्यादा गलतियां because they are overconfident, because they think, "Arey, this is something I know. This is so simple." They make careless mistakes because they don't read the question properly, and that's where a googly is there, and that's where they make a mistake. So the regret is much more for chemistry because it's often stuff that you know very well, and yet you lose marks. So in this video, I'm going to tell you few things that you need to bear in mind while you're preparing for your chemistry examination, while you're writing the chemistry examination, and also the time management strategy. So let's get started. Okay, so what should you do while preparing for your chemistry paper? Certain specific instructions, certain more generic kind of instructions, the kind of mistakes that you may have made in your pre-board papers, your seniors made, and what I've learned from talking to different teachers and my own analysis. Now, whenever you are writing any equation, point number one, now many students have a tendency to write, X is reacting with Y, copper with sulfuric acid, whatever, okay. You always need to mention, please remember that you always need to mention whether the reaction is taking place in a diluted state or in a concentrated state. This is important. If you do not write this, you will lose marks. So including both these terms becomes extremely important. Now you may think, अरे ये तो छोटी बात है, but छोटी छोटी बातों में ही एक mark lose होता रहेगा, तो it will add up to much more. When you come back from the examination, you will not remember that you forgot to write this, and as a result have lost a mark. So please be very, very particular that you're writing down all the necessary details. Do not get confused between terms which on the surface sound very similar, residue, precipitate. Make sure while you're studying that you know the difference. What does each and every term in chemistry stand for? And that's why knowing the definitions, understanding the definitions becomes that much more important. I'm emphasizing on understanding. मेरी dictionary में कभी भी रट्टा लगाना नहीं रहता है. I never believe in rote learning. You need to understand, because when you understand, the mind software is able to process it that much better. Okay. Always balance the equation. Now that's one of the most common mistakes that students make. They give unbalanced equations. So always balance the equation, irrespective of whether it is asked in the question or not asked. You will not give an unbalanced equation in your answer script. Please make sure of that. Focus on color and solubility of precipitate formed using reagents. This is again a common error, mistake made by students. During the next few days, whenever you are preparing for chemistry, please make sure that you are preparing observation-based questions, because these come, okay, they come a lot in section B. Section A may be thoda sa sakta hai, but section B may definitely. So please prepare for observation-based questions in analytical chemistry. In particular, learn things like colors of salts, okay, in the acid, bases, and salts chapter. Also learn all the reactions along with specific conditions. If the equation mentions a specific condition like temperature, catalyst, whether it is hot, whether it is cold, please ensure that you are factoring that. You need to take that into account. You do not ignore that. Okay. Now, as you can realize, I'm pointing out very, very minute things, because these are the kind of mistakes that happen in chemistry. केमिस्ट्री में बड़ी बड़ी बातें मिस्टेक्स नहीं होती है, केमिस्ट्री में छोटी छोटी मिस्टेक्स होती हैं, एंड दोस छोटी छोटी मिस्टेक्स, small mistakes add up to the loss of big numbers. That's how students do not end up getting an 80 on 80, even though they expect an 80 on 80, and it may end up at a 77 on 80 because you have made these small mistakes, okay, without realizing it. Read the question carefully and answer what is required. For example, if a name is asked, give the name. Do not write the formula of that particular name of that product. Okay? In case you can add on the formula, but the name is important. You will get the mark for writing the name. Okay? In case of observation-based questions, do not write the names of products. That's not what is required. You are asked to write what is it that you're observing in terms of color change, in terms of state change, whatever. In chemistry, unlike in a subject like geography, it is not possible to do selective study. It's not possible to do percentage study. So please, and especially when you have a longer gap, please try and avoid doing selective study. Don't say these topics, oh, last 2 years it has been consecutively asked, so that means in 24 it won't be asked. Please don't do that kind of, jugglery. Learn everything better. Be fully prepared so that you don't leave anything to chance. Learn laws and definitions with the correct keywords. This is again very important. The keywords become very important. Organic chemistry, there is a lot of fear of and apprehension when it comes to organic chemistry. Take care of things like alkane, alkene, alkyne. Do not be in a hurry and assume something to be different from what it is. Observation-based questions, write only the relevant observation which has been asked. You do not need to write about every product which has not been asked in the question. Just writing white precipitate is not enough. You need to be specific about what kind of white it is: curdy white, chalky white, milky white, glassy white, whatever. You need to write the very, very specific part of it. Okay. Like this is not a white shirt. This is an off-white shirt, right? So you need to be particular. What color are we talking about? It's like, when you go to file, I mean, God forbid, you should never have to do that. But when people go to file a missing person complaint at the police station, the person will ask, he'll just not ask the name and age. What was the person wearing the last time he or she was seen? What kind of, if he's wearing specs, what kind of specs is he wearing? What kind of shoes was he wearing? What kind of watch was he wearing? What color hair does he or she have? Different kinds of things in order to identify. Identification is what we are talking about. Okay. One mistake that students make is to just mention the end product, but that's not the answer that is expected. They're asking you about the actual observation. So you need to talk about the color and solubility of the precipitate if there is any change in color. And when it comes to talking about color in specific terms, you always need to mention the initial color, that it changed from blue to white, it changed from yellow to rose color, yellow to red. You need to mention the change in color, the initial color and the final color. Please remember that. Again, I'm repeating this. I'm repeating so many times because you need to get this into your system. Balance karke rakho. Write your observation, identify the gas liberated, and give all the other details. This is another question which is asked both in terms for chemistry as well as physics, maybe hua hoga, mathematics, maybe. Any rough work you do it on the right hand side of the page. Why I say that? Because when you copy from the right side to the main part of your answer script, the chances of making a mistake are less. If you have arrived at a particular figure on the right hand side, you will write the same figure here. When you're turning the page in that anxiety, because your mind is also thinking about the answer to some other question, your mind is not 100% focused. You could make a mistake when you're copying from the back side. If your rough page is on the last page of your answer script, to copy it on your main script, the chances of making an error here are comparatively lesser. So it's always preferable that you make the rough page on the right hand side page of your answer script. The other advantage of this is that by chance, even then, if you make a mistake, a more lenient examiner would see that, oh, here he or she, the student has written correctly, but from right to left, the student has made a mistake. So possible, I'm not saying guarantee, but possible that the examiner may be a little more considerate in such matters. Okay, so this you remember even for mathematics. How to remember equation and formula? Very often asked question. Do not rely on anyone's notes. Don't borrow notes right now. ये तो बिल्कुल मत करो, गलती करोगे, क्योंकि every student has a different style of making his or her notes. So make your own short notes, so that, and also when you practice a question, make a note, write it, write the formula, write the equation, balance the equation. Don't just read it. Reading से नहीं होगा. Okay, so it's not just enough to remember, oh, इस इधर से नाइट्रोजन आता है, नाइट्रिक ऑक्साइड आता है, सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड आता है. That's not enough. Okay, the more you practice, the better you will get at with both chemistry. This applies even to mathematics. So practice by writing, not just reading. And that's what I've written here. I'm emphasizing, please solve as many questions as possible. What should be your strategy as far as section A MCQs are concerned, the 15 MCQs? You need to be obviously more thorough with your understanding, so that you are able to distinguish between the two options. Find out the 3 wrong answers. Don't go for the 1 right answer. As I always say, elimination method, but I'm emphasizing it much more out here, because sabhi mein there will be, H2SO4, H2O, H2S, so everything will be an element of sulfur. So you need to eliminate. Okay, ye nahi hoga. You need to eliminate instead of choosing the right answer right at the beginning. So adopt that particular frame of mind, that I need to eliminate. This applies specifically to chemistry. It may not apply really to mathematics, because there you want to find out the right answer and then say, okay, B, C, D is not right, only A is correct. But in chemistry, go for the elimination method much more vigorously to make sure that B, C, and D are not there. Therefore, A is the answer. Cross-check it with the equation, and then you are 200% confirmed that you have tick mark the correct answer. That's what your strategy should be. If you get stuck in balancing an equation, move forward. Don't kind of, keep trying to do that. Sometimes some of them can be a little sticky, so you can always come back. Organic chemistry, sit and analyze the equations, make your mind maps. That always helps when it comes to organic chemistry. I repeat, the maximum mistakes are made in not balancing your equation. Name the following questions, writing the name of the substance instead of writing the formula instead of writing the name of the substance. Ye to bol diya, 18 to bol diya. There is a video which we had done last year, in which chapter wise Smita ma'am has spoken about the mistakes that you make chapter wise, and what you should do and what you should not do. Please see that video. It's a very useful video. 25 minute ka video hai. It will really help you in identifying that, okay, these are the mistakes I also make. So I need to be double careful about that. So that's even more of a specific video. I didn't see the need to repeat that. There is another video which I have done, in which I have spoken about chapter wise breakup of the marks for chapter wise. Please have a look at that. That will also give you an idea. So these 2 videos are there from 2023. No change in that. Please follow that. When it comes to time management strategy, section A, obviously, everything is compulsory. Section B, you need to do 4 out of the 6 questions. Section A, 15 MCQs, which will, and then you have in question 2, identification questions, match the following, fill in the blanks, draw structural diagram, IUPAC, name of compounds, or diagram based questions, which is for 25 marks. Okay. And so what you should do is that in the reading time, decide which 4 you will attempt in section B. That job you need to do in the reading time. And while you are doing that, please ensure that you read every part very carefully. Okay, don't just read the first 2 or ye to malum hai, I will do question number 4. No, read every part and ensure that you know the answer to every question. So the reading time, the focus should be much more on section B. Okay, then it's entirely up to you whether you want to start with section B or section A. If section B you have identified, my suggestion would be to start with section B first. 2 of the 4 questions. Don't do 2, come to section A and then go back to section B. Don't do that. Section B, if you're starting, finish section B and then only come to section A. Ye section B or A ke beech mein, okay, pulao aur raita ki tarah mix mat karo. Okay, don't do that. Do one first and then go. Do the main course first, then go for the dessert. Okay, gulab jamun baad mein khana. So section B, my suggestion in time management would be devote 20 minutes for each question. So you're talking about 20 minutes into 4, 80 minutes you will spend on that. Section A, since it's all MCQs and fill in the blanks and stuff like that, should not take more than 30 minutes. should not take more than 30 minutes. You can do things faster. Many of the questions will be actually quite simple. Okay, if you get some time during the reading time, at least the MCQs you can go through quickly. I'm guessing that you will have the temptation to look at the MCQs in any case. Okay, and revision and buffer time, you have 10 minutes. Isme just look at the equations in particular, that you have not made a mistake in a hurry. So that is something which you need to do. So that is as far as the entire strategy for your chemistry examination is concerned. I hope this 15-16 minute video has been of use to you. I wish you all the best, and I'm very sure that if you have done very well in physics, you will be able to excel in chemistry, right? Your overall science percentage can really go up. If you have not done physics very well, as many students seem to have kind of messed up a bit, this is your chance to boost up your science average. Chemistry gives you a great opportunity. It gives you an opportunity greater than biology, because biology, there can be more googly questions. Chemistry in that sense is much more of a Sachin Tendulkar like straight bat shot. Okay, thank you very much. Tata, bye bye. God bless you.